Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Responsibly Irresponsible. This week we have Mya, who is an artist, a published author, and a graphic designer. We're going to be speaking with her today. And Mya, why don't you say hi to the people?
Hello. I like that vote of confidence, a published author. I ain't published yet, boy.
Don't you have a published book out?
I mean, not by like any standard of publishing. I have a book that I wrote when I was 14 and I printed it and got a cover made. But like, thank you for the vote of confidence.
Okay.
Speaking it into existence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really good because I'm hoping for that to actually happen here in like about 2-3 weeks. I don't know, whenever September 3rd rolls around.
All right.
Okay,
So
close enough.
Yeah,
close enough.
basically, yeah. We're
Published author in the
That's
near
fine.
future.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so we already tried this podcast once, and it didn't work out because the audio was trash. But now we're a different podcast now, and we have some things handled.
I just love how you're just casually lying to everyone listening.
Yeah.
How am I lying?
Most things handled.
Oh man.
We tried this podcast before everything happened with the virus, and the audio was just trash. The podcast was great. We had a great time with Mya talking about all sorts of awesome topics, but it was just not usable. So now we have to redo it, and here we are. And Maya's back.
wrangled me
She came back. So, you
Round
want to
two.
start us off, Cliff?
Ding ding ding. Sure, of course. Why not? So, Mya,
Yes.
graphic designer. Your artwork is all over Instagram. Now that I follow you, I get to see it all the time, which is really good. So the Emthree.creative. I know when we first spoke, we went over the anagram that you have as your logo that I really like.
Yeah.
Is this the anagram still? Yeah, it is. It's
Yep.
still the same logo. So and even then the M and then the 3 creative, like it's very smooth, very chic. So how has your process been during? I guess do we call it quarantine still? Because people are outside. How has your artistic process been? Has it changed any since COVID has hit?
Shoot.
Since the last time we had spoke?
Thankfully, it actually hasn't like a whole lot. I mean, I do everything on a computer, so I've actually had quite a few clients since all this started, and I haven't really super been affected by it in terms of like designing anything because I sit at my computer and I email people things. That's my whole job. But I think I did take a little break there because it was just, it was a lot. Like everything was going on and just trying not to die. And so I took a
Yep.
brief little hiatus from it, but I'm back at it now. And
Which is fair.
yeah, I
Yes.
think a lot of people ended up obviously a lot of people ended up doing that. Everyone was at home for a while. So yeah, I took a little break, but I'm back at it, and we're hustling. Like I said, gosh, in the beginning, things are happening, and they're happening very rapidly, and I'm just about not able to keep up. But yeah,
Well, that's really good. What more could you ask for as an artist right now? Like that's amazing that everything is still working out how it's supposed to be, or if not even better.
yeah.
So far with your clientele coming in at a rapid pace, is there one specific client or project that you have coming up that you're working on that you just cannot wait to get it out, or that you feel is a little more special than the others?
Yeah, I've got well, I'm working on something for a friend right now. I'm working on like a whole branding suite for her. She's an artist as well, and she's really fun to work with. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. That's coming up pretty soon. So hopefully you guys should be able to see some of that on my Instagram. And then I'm really hyped because this actually all just went down today, but I actually got a mural painting job here in town, and I'm going to
Wow.
be putting one of the designs that's on my my Instagram page on a historical building and like one of the businesses in the like kind of up and coming west side here in town, and I am so excited for it.
Wow, that's awesome.
See, that's crazy. That's amazing.
That's really
And-
good marketing too.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
that's what I'm thinking because I've been kind of trying to distribute some cards, get the word out that, hey, I also like paint signs and stuff, and I draw big letters. And
Yeah, your Instagram is popping.
yeah, here lately especially. And so I'm trying to get the word out that I do that as well. Like, it's not just graphic design, but I really love sign painting. So hopefully this will be a something to keep up with and get the word out that, hey, I do this as well.
Yeah, I will say too, your sign, from your signs to your graphic design. I mean, I guess that kind of correlates, but like your spectrum that you can go through, it's not like one thing. You're very good at a lot of different styles, and I think that's awesome.
I try. I think that just is a testament to the fact that I get bored easily.
So when you're creating, or when you're an artist that's in two lanes like you are with, graphic design and with the sign painting, how do you, or maybe I shouldn't say how, is your process different for each lane? Like, do you approach it differently than one from the other, or is it the same? You just pick up and just go.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends. For a lot of like the sign painting, like the design that I'm going to be putting up on the wall there, it's typographical, so it's mostly letters. It's a design that I actually did up on my computer, and I'm going to be transferring it with a projector onto the wall. So I am approaching it kind of similarly in that, I already went through the process of actually designing it and laying it all out, but you still have to kind of look at it the same way and use the same principles of like, okay, where is this going to sit on the wall? How is this going to look from the road? How's this going to look when you're standing right in front of it? And all the technical aspects of that. I haven't actually done any freehand murals yet, but I think the process would be similar, just because in order for something to look good, I mean, there are like rules for design, for art, that lend to something looking really appealing. And that's how I do any type of art, whether it's design or whether it's like painting or drawing or illustration or whatever. Kind of approach it with that eye, but also like have fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we've had a few different types of artists on here now. I know the process of actually getting your work out and getting the right eyes to see it can be very difficult, and it tries your patience. So how have you been, I don't want to say, well, I guess I could say hustling to get your artwork out, your vision, the things that you can do, you're capable of. How have you been able to get the right people to see it, to maybe help, open up opportunities?
It's a combination of just kind of persistence, like, because of course I have the Instagram account, and when I'm not taking a break from it, I do try and post like every day, every other day, keep it out there and keep posting new things, making sure that there's like a wide range of stuff that can appeal to a lot of people. But I do think like knowing people is really important as well, because that's a big reason I just got this mural job, and it's because my dad has actually done he's a carpenter, does a lot of like fine woodworking, like cool stuff like that. And he's worked for a lot of those businesses down in the West Side. And he is actually going to, he's going to be there helping me, like kind of fielding some of the conversations with different people that he knows. But he actually was the one that introduced me to this guy down here who I'll be painting the mural for. So I'm really appreciative of that. And that, I think, is a big help too, knowing a lot of different people.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I know we always talk about networking and branching out. I mean, it's funny, like you said, you never know who's watching. You never know opportunities could pop up. So that's cool. That's dope that you had that connection to this is, because I'm sure this will be big for your artwork. Just, I mean, everybody's going to be able to see it.
Yeah,
especially if it's on a historical building. That's crazy.
It's in a pretty high traffic area too. Like there's lots of little restaurants and like microbreweries around there in that same area. So I'm really excited that first of all, that the owner of this business was so ready for it. Like he was like, yes, absolutely. I've been looking for somebody to paint a mural. So like, perfect. Where do you want it? Which was crazy. And it's exciting because there's going to be a lot of, I think, eyes on it while it's going up. And then after that, I think it's going to be like a landmark for people to come and, people love murals. They love to pose in front of murals. Yeah. So
exactly. That was literally going to be the next thing I brought up. I was like talking about marketing. if it's a nice mural that people love to stand in front of, like what? That's
Yeah.
Instagram money
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Yep.
People are suckers for murals.
Yeah, and back to what Cliff said about like the art and how it appeals to different people. That's just such a special thing about art, is that one thing that doesn't quite appeal to one person might really touch another person. And seeing and being in such a high traffic area like that, you know, it gets so many eyes and so many like people, like if they see that and they're like, oh wow, that's amazing, they're going to be taking pictures of it, like you said, posing in front of it. And then the fact that it's in front of what you said, a pizza place.
Yeah, it's on the side of it's a business that's been around in Cookeville for years. This older couple actually owned the business back in, man, I don't even remember now. They've been there for a long time, but they sold it to a guy that worked as an apprentice for them, and he owns it now. He's actually the one I've been dealing with, which is, it's really cool because I mean, I knew the couple that owned it previously, and I know this guy, and it's neat to be a part of that.
Yeah. Do you is the town you're in, is that kind of like a small town?
It's halfway between like a small town and like a bigger city. It's a college town, so it's fairly small, like size wise, but there's a lot of like kind of moving and shaking going on, especially with the older areas of town. They're getting kind of not built up, but they're getting modernized, and people are trying to move into cooler, like old facades on the old side of town, which is neat. It's cool to see that get like transformed and kind of upgraded a little bit.
Sounds exactly like what Lakeland is doing right now.
Yeah,
100%.
It reminds me a lot of Lakeland, actually. It's somewhere between like small town and big city, and it's a neat area to be in and try and like make a niche for myself in.
Yeah, and that's where art thrives in these kinds of areas, because there's such an up and coming, you know, of everything, of buildings and businesses and people. So it's like,
so we've got a college town and a mural that's going to be on a historical building. It's like, yeah, your Instagram posts are going to go up dramatically.
I'm
dramatically.
So excited to get working on this. I wanted to circle back to what Corin was saying just a minute ago, because I thought it was really interesting what you were saying about like murals connecting with people and them kind of sharing pictures of them. It reminded me of back in March when the tornado went through Tennessee. In, I believe it's in Germantown. It was in East Nashville. There's everyone's seen the I Believe in Nashville mural. And the building that was on actually got taken out by the tornado, but the mural stayed up. Whoa. And that got circulated around like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like, I saw that picture so many times, and I thought that was neat, because what you were saying about like murals and like bigger art resonating with people in that way, I thought that was a really good example of that.
Yeah.
Art has a funny way of resonating with people in all forms. Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. I'm actually super excited. Like, I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done. Like, I really want to see how it's gonna look.
Yeah, I'm hot, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And wait, so hold on. Side note. So with murals, do artists sign murals?
Yeah, no. Usually. I guess it kind of depends. I mean, I've seen some that aren't signed or are signed in kind of a more discreet way, but I plan to.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, heck yes.
Usually, I mean, here in Lakeland, there are some huge murals that are signed, like very like in your face, and there's others that are not signed. It just depends on the person that is ordering the mural.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it depends on who you're doing it for, because if you're hiring it out for like your business, like if they're painting like your business's name out of the side of the building, I think you're less likely to be able to sign it in a in your face way. But if it's like art for the sake of art, you better believe I'm signing this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, in 2020, it's like everyone signs their murals like with their Instagram @ oh god. Imagine. So speaking to your art and all the other things that you're involved in the episode, I'm referencing an episode that people haven't heard because it didn't drop, but we had a conversation about your self-diagnosis of wow, now the word has just slipped my mind. Like that's so crazy. Your
Autism?
self-diagnosis of autism.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That
Yeah.
fascinates me so much. Like I love hearing about how you've used this and you've leveraged it to help you be better in your work. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that more lately. And I'm talking with a therapist, as I was saying. I'm talking with a therapist about getting some assessments for that and a couple other things that I'm just curious about. So that's in the works right now. If I can get off my butt and like actually call them and get over my fear of talking to people on the phone. But I think it affects my art in kind of a different way because I mean, like a big thing with autism and stuff in that kind of bent of different neurology, I guess, is like I experience sensory things a whole lot different. Like I can't do the dishes. Like let me just out here and say this. My husband does all of the dishes in our house because the thought of it and like touching the wet plates and the soap and all of that, it just makes me want to hurl. I can't do it. I will be like sobbing into the dishes as I'm doing that. It's a problem. So I'm like
Okay.
more sensitive
Interesting.
to like sensory experiences in that way, like sounds and bright light and all of that. But I think it also contributes to art in, I mean, like art is kind of a projection of how you view the world. So I think it colors that in a different way. I've noticed like a lot of my designs tend to be more muted colors because like bright colors are like an assault on the senses. I hate it. Like, and so
Okay.
I suppose I'm trying to branch out of that. I do want to do more colorful stuff. Sometimes it can be really nice to look at something colorful and that's like an experience in and of itself. But yeah, it affects my art in that kind of way. Just I'm more in tune, I think, to the visual way that things like affect me, and I like to make things that give me that happy brain juice, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. There's
And
a lot of things
how-
that we don't think about.
Yeah.
And on the same topic, like with your daily struggles of like what triggers you and what doesn't, as far as your creative process, what kind of like as far as being on that spectrum, what aids to your creative process and what hinders your creative process?
I'm thinking like accommodations wise, I'm already planning like what I'm gonna bring for the mural. Like I'm bringing some noise canceling headphones. I'm gonna be wearing sunglasses. I am going to probably have an umbrella set up because if I get overheated, I will freak out. Like I hate the feeling of sweat. I'm already planning accommodations for that, so that aids my process. I cannot like with loud cars driving by, and I know I'm gonna be right by a road, so I have to think about all of this stuff in advance. And while I'm super excited for it, it's like, okay, I have to get ready and I have to prepare and make sure that my body will be able to go through with this experience and I won't like be absolutely wrecked by the end of it. And the same with when I'm doing stuff at home too. I usually end up with my headphones on, some tea, like something that I can have in my mouth to chew on, like just kind of keep myself busy, even though I am actually busy. Which sounds odd, but you know, whatever.
No, it actually doesn't. I'm thinking the more you're talking, do you have like a form of ADD as well?
That's one of the things I'd like to get assessed for because I think autism and ADHD in girls tend to present in really similar ways and tend to kind of go hand in hand. So I'd like to see, you know, where do I fall on either of these kind of diagnoses, because I see a lot of ADD, ADHD traits in myself as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I am a diagnosed ADHD by a doctor. So yeah, when you're talking, like a lot of the stuff you're talking about, it like resonates with me. Except you know, sobbing into dishes.
Right? Yeah, that's totally a me
do
thing. That's like a
dishes
me centric.
I can do dishes pretty like normally, but as far as like having something to chew on having noise canceling headphones. Like when I'm focusing on something, it's like I almost need noise to have silence.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Oh yeah. When I'm writing, which doesn't make a lot of sense, I will have music going because I need the extra input there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying because as I've been doing like more creative stuff, I've been wanting, I'm learning how to edit, and I'm editing with a lot of vocal, like editing vocals and speech. And I don't know what it is, but if I don't have some sort of music either playing outside my headphones or playing very low inside my headphones, I can't. It's almost like I can't comprehend what I'm listening to.
Yep.
So it's very strange, but I'm glad there's more people out there.
This is very interesting to hear, because I being someone who I'm not diagnosed with any of these things, these are things I don't even think about. Like if I'm writing, I mean, like, I might listen to some music from typing an essay, but like I don't need it per se. To me, actually, in some forms, if I do listen to music while I'm writing or reading, there cannot be lyrics because it will take my attention.
It's so weird to me.
I will start rapping or singing along to the song, and it will mess up the entire thing. Like I'll start typing out lyrics instead of my thought process of the essay. Like,
that is so funny.
Yeah, I will say that with it, as far as like lyrics and non-lyrics, there are certain instances where I need no lyrics. I get that. But like the more, I don't know, the more like there's some instances where I need crazy music, like fast, upbeat, in your face music, loud. And there's some where I need that subtle classical, just orchestral.
Orchestral, yeah.
Yeah. In like the background kind of music. So.
Yeah. It's funny. It's almost like my brain is too loud and I need something to kind of distract me from the noise that's going on inside my head and kind of channel that. Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. I think I said this in the episode that never happened. I get this a lot. Like I want to say almost every single day. My brain is running so fast, thinking about so many different things. I sometimes can't comprehend what my brain is doing. Like sometimes I can't comprehend my own thoughts because I feel like it's so jumbled up and so like jumping from one thing to the next, to this, that, to that, that I can't, like, even if I sit down and close my eyes and just try to decipher what's happening in my brain, there's instances where I just can't. And like sometimes I can like pick out certain words and like certain like things to kind of put together like what I'm thinking about. But there's certain times, like, I mean, my wife will ask me sometimes, like, I'll be pacing for no reason. She'll ask me, what are you thinking about? Why are you pacing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I can't make sense of it. There's too much.
Yeah. So pacing to understand.
Yeah. Is that something that happens to you as well? Or is that just me?
I think it happens to me in a slightly different way. I have a lot of things going all at once in my head, and I can kind of compartmentalize them enough that I can like think about one thought for a second, and then the next one kind of shoves it out of the way, and I'll like go down some kind of rabbit hole of I'm thinking about this now. Like, I get the general bent of what you're saying, but it is a little bit different. I tend to have very like linear thoughts, but there's just a lot of background noise. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys ever thought about like just writing your thoughts down? I mean, I know that sounds mad simple, but like, have you ever thought about putting it on paper?
I can't write lists. I can't keep a journal. I can't do mind mapping. It's like worse.
I will say this. I actually have been writing stuff down, but it's not like really like my thoughts. It's just kind of like stuff I need to get done.
Yes.
Because if I don't write down things like in reminders that I have to get done, I'll just totally forget
Yep.
it. Like,
Yep. Yeah, no, I need
I
reminders
yeah.
and like notes
So
everywhere. like
yeah,
like
I
I
have
am
been
a little dementia patient. I've got like sticky notes.
yeah, I have been doing that. Like, okay, when I get home, I need to do this. I need to edit. I need to get this done. That kind of stuff. And then like, if I think about something that I need to buy in the future, like I put that down. Like, but as far as my thoughts, like it just goes back to the fact that I most of the time don't know what I'm thinking. So until that thing happens, I won't know,
Right.
which is weird, but
So does this
it's just
process that you guys go through, like mentally trying to figure out what your next step is does it cause anxiety?
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Like,
for sure.
because a lot of times, like, because I think what you're describing in a way, Corin, is like executive dysfunction, which is a big thing in autism and ADHD. And it's like, I don't know when I'm starting a task or like today, literally today, I will illustrate this for you. I have had laundry that I need to put away for a long time. It's
Mhm.
just been sitting out, and it's because there's like a couple of baskets of it, and the process of doing it, and I have to go through the steps of I need to take the laundry out of the basket, sort it into shirts, pants, socks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I need to then find the drawer that they go in, put it all in. Like the process of breaking all of those steps down is so overwhelming that I
Mhm.
didn't put my laundry away for like almost a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that too, because it's like it needs to be done a certain way, and if it can't be done in that certain way, just you can't do it.
Mhm. And it's like I don't know
So
how to break it down. I literally today had to put on a movie that I wanted to watch and use that as like a carrot on a stick to get me in
Mhm.
there so that I could start in and like decide all the steps that I was going to go through and execute to put my laundry away, which is ridiculous, but that is my life.
yeah, and that's a big thing, because like a lot of that kind of stuff can be, I think, falsely diagnosed. Like I obviously I'm a procrastinator, but like a lot of that stuff is falsely diagnosed as procrastination.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily that. I mean, yeah, I guess it is a little bit, but like it's the fact of I can't do this unless these certain
Mhm.
like factors are met.
Yeah.
Because it will ruin me, or I just won't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I got called a procrastinator all the time as a kid. Like
Yep.
brushing my teeth was such a big battle because toothpaste burns my mouth. Hate it. Worst sensory experience in the world. I hate the bristles on my gums. Hurts. It's awful. Do not recommend. And then I was also a child, and I could not express all of that in like kind of coherent ways. And so mom would tell me that you're procrastinating because I would literally like find excuses to not go brush my teeth.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to hear you talking about different sensory stuff like this, because like I don't know, like I don't have that. So it's just like it's so interesting to hear that, because I also heard there's a lot of musicians or producers who have synesthesia,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like their sensory is audio, but they see the sounds
Yeah.
that they're
Mhm.
making,
That's really
which is
cool
so
to me.
cool to
Yeah.
me. That's so dope. Like I couldn't even put that into words, and most of them can't either. But it's just like I literally see, like this beat has a certain color to it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Synesthesia
like
is
what?
crazy. Yeah.
So like the ideology behind having like all these either enhanced sensory or something that is just, for me, that someone that doesn't deal with it, it's just like, oh wow, like I never thought about like how that might be a problem.
Yeah. How like other people view the world. It's really interesting to think about it. Like at its barest, it's kind of this person sees the color red differently than I do type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
on that topic of music, like his music is a huge vital part of my life and always has been.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what is like how do you said like, having music playing in the background, having music playing while you're writing or reading is sometimes necessary when you're doing something. So like how would you say that music has affected your day-to-day life?
Helps me concentrate. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind. It helps me concentrate because it kind of gives me one thing to focus on. And like
Mhm.
when I sit down to write, like it is my routine. I get my document out, I start Spotify, and I open up a tab on Google Chrome because I need some visual distraction as well in order to stay focused, which is ridiculous. But
Mhm.
no, yeah, like music kind of helps me get through. I have music playing just about all of the time, honestly. When I'm in the car, when I'm at home
Mhm.
cooking, like when I'm doing whatever, I usually have music going because it just kind of helps me concentrate, like get through things. And I suppose it probably has something to do with the fact that like you can kind of set a time limit for yourself with music as well, because like a song is a certain length and I know
Yeah.
I need to go do this and it will take me approximately this long. So I'll
It'll take
start
me
this.
approximately 10 songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a way to kind of plan the day, which
Yeah.
also really helps. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Music gets me through my day.
Yeah. I would say like not only that, as far as like day to day, like music helps me in so many ways. I feel like I'm more productive. I'm better at what I'm doing when I'm listening to music.
Mm-hmm. Kind of get in the zone. Yeah.
Yeah. But also like on the side of like, I don't know, music is in itself is so beautiful for the fact that music can invoke an emotion through just sound. Like it can make you feel a certain way. It can make you remember a certain memory that maybe you have not thought of in a while. Or it can, make you happy, make you sad, make you think deeper. Like all these things, and like all the different genres of music have these different like things that they can bring out, and everyone's different in that fact. Like classical music for me might not do the same thing as classical music for you or for Cliff. So it's like that kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Like the art of music and how it affects our day-to-day life and just us in general is just so beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's kind of music, just like any other art form, it's like about how that person's going to experience it, which is so cool because, like you said, everyone is going to experience it in a different way, whether we like it or not. Like the moment that we're listening to it, or the words or the sounds or the lyrics, or whatever the case may be, will mean something different to each person who hears it. So that's always something cool to like think about. Like we were talking about earlier with the sensory stuff, like the experience of the sounds or of the instrumental, of the violin in the song. Who knows like how that'll strike someone else that might not strike you. You might not even catch that. You hear it.
Yeah.
But someone else might like be fixated on like, wow, did you hear that?
Yep.
It's just it's so cool that art in itself, when it's appreciated from different people, that the experience will still be so completely different, and they'll appreciate something that maybe you didn't even realize was a part of it.
Yeah.
Seeing other people's perspectives is so amazing because and it can be frustrating too, because I'm listening to this song and it's hitting me so like hard, and like it's making me feel a certain kind of way, and then I say, hey, I like go to my wife and I'm like, hey, listen to this song, and she listens to it and she's like,
all right.
okay, whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's just a song, and I'm just like, no, it's more than that.
This is more than just a song. This is my life.
Yeah.
I have that same issue, not with music, but with film. Oh my goodness, film.
Okay.
Like if you, because like anything else, it's an art form. So what I experienced from the movie or from the film, you probably might not catch the same exact things.
Yeah.
And so for some people, that's like so frustrating. It's like, how do you not see like the art in this? And it's just, it's tough.
I feel that really hard because I actually just, for the first time, and you can ostracize me all you want. For the first time in my life, I watched Inception.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Like I said, ostracize me all you want. It's fine. But I watched Inception when it was on Netflix, like way at the beginning of all of this craziness. And I love that movie. But
Yeah.
I found myself asking Jordan like a lot, my husband, as we were watching it. I was like, why is this so popular with like I'm trying not to be judgmental here, with the like kind of action movie crowd, like the crowd
like,
of people I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I'll help you, since you're an artist. You don't want to judge. I'm not. I can say whatever. So action films like Transformers, no disrespect.
Yes.
A lot of those people resonate with Inception too, which is surprising because Inception does invoke a lot of thought. And how did this? And it's just Christopher Nolan's amazing in that
It's
way.
kind of
and not
kind of the
only
same.
like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's kind of the same thing. I feel like in the emotion and the thought that Inception brings out can be the same as what Interstellar. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have not seen Interstellar, but
Oh
you
my
can
God.
ostracize me for
Goodness.
that. I know. See, you said we weren't going to yell, Corin.
Sorry. That movie.
You have to watch it.
I don't
I
even know
know, it's
how
on
to
my
describe
list.
it. It's just it's so beyond just the acting and like.
Mhm.
So
Of
that
course,
movie, KP, how long is that movie, bro? It's like what, 2.5 hours?
yeah.
Like,
I
so.
cry during that
Fan.
movie every time I watch it, at least twice.
My attention span. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
At
on
least
my
twice.
list.
I know. Just cut it up. You can watch it.
Yeah,
in
I'll break it
segments.
up. You need
Because
to-
You gotta see it.
You need to move that movie up to like your next 3 movies
right,
you
all right.
watch because it's amazing.
Big ups
I
to
will.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
That is an amazing movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
it's-
I need to add that. And I was gonna say it was interesting with Inception because I was watching that from like a writer's perspective, and the amount of character development that went into that, and the backstory that they gave. I forget his name now. The guy with the brain that they were inside of.
I can't think of it either.
Yeah,
at the moment.
the
Robin
dude.
Hood?
We all know the guy. I don't remember his name,
yeah,
but
the guy.
the way that they kind of revealed his character and the backstory of it was so clever because it was almost a traumatic childhood where he felt like he couldn't live up to his father's expectations and like had a lot of guilt over it, and it like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they incorporated that into such an action movie blew me
Yeah.
away. I did
It's
not
amazing.
expect to like it that much, but that reeled me in. I was like, dude, yes, we're here for emotional depth.
And so like that's the thing with me is like in most films, my favorite thing about film, because I actually want to start writing scripts, is I love dialogue. So like if the
Yeah.
dialogue in a movie is bad, I can't fathom watching it.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
it will not. I can't watch it, which is why like a lot of action movies just cannot hold my. It's not stupid because that's wrong. I don't know.
No.
It's just because it's perspective. It's just
I understand. Like if it's kind of shallow dialogue, there's not a lot
I
of,
can't. It won't hold
yeah.
me. It just
Yep.
won't hold me.
Dialogue is supposed to invoke thought, and I think Interstellar did that very well because there's a lot of times when just by dialogue you knew if they were in a dream or not, and like just by like the stuff they said or by
cool.
their mannerisms, like it hinted to you like, oh my god, they're not in reality right now, they're actually in a dream or
That's
like
cool.
whatever.
Have you
But-
seen Memento, Maya?
No. I have not seen very many movies. Again, like yell at me.
We are going to send you.
We're
a list.
in quarantine, Maya.
I know,
Why
I
are you
know.
not
List.
watching movies?
I don't know. I've never been a super big movie watcher. Like, I think we talked about it in the last episode, the non-episode, that I liked like Wes Anderson and like Midnight in Paris as a child.
Yeah.
So like
Because
it's
Wes
that
Anderson is a beast.
Yeah, I mean he's amazing. I just got like super hyped because Fantastic Mr. Fox is streaming. And we just got Disney Plus, and I was like, yes. And so I started watching
Yes,
that.
I love that movie.
That's such a good movie.
Such a
like
good
that's the type
movie.
of stuff I watched. So all this stuff is kind of out of my genre, but I'm trying to get through all of it and like kind of branch
It's
out.
so
a little bit.
fitting that you like Wes Anderson because his films are art. Like it's
Yep.
the color
Have you-
palettes that he uses. It's all
Yes.
beautiful.
Have
to
you
look at.
watched Isle of Dogs?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
fun.
that movie. I was
Okay,
so
I have-
excited.
Don't spoil anything because I still have not watched that movie.
Okay, it's really good. It's really
Is
good.
it out on anything? 'Cause I
I
don't think
don't know
it
if
is.
it's streaming. I bought it when it came out.
I've been
Um,
looking for that movie since it came out because I've
I
wanted
have
to
the
watch it. I just
DVD.
never watched it. I've never watched it.
I don't know what that
theaters.
is. I have to check it out.
It's
I don't
a
know what
Isn't
that
Wes
is.
Anderson. It came out
Yeah.
like the year my husband and I got married.
it's
But I
2018.
don't think
Okay.
it was in theaters. It just was. I think it was in select theaters, and then they released it on DVD, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, we're buying this."
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I have to watch that.
Yeah, that is really good. I recommend that. It's
But-
not as it's very different than Fantastic Mr. Fox or like Moonrise Kingdom, which are like two of my favorites. But
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
good
you like
in its own
Moonrise
right.
Kingdom.
Oh man, that's such a good movie.
Great movie.
Yes.
Great movie.
But
Oh man, wow.
I'm still on the topic of like movies, and Cliff said, his part of movies is dialogue.
Mhm.
I think my part of movies that I would say that I look at the most is cinematography.
Yeah.
And like how movies are shot is so like it really speaks to me, because like especially with, have you seen the behind the scenes of how Inception was made? Especially
No, but I would love to.
that scene where
They're
he's
floating?
running around the hotel
Yeah.
hallway, and they're literally running on the roof, on the doors, and
Yeah.
like fighting and all that. They literally created like a whole floating set.
Oh, cool.
And not only was the set moving, but also the camera was moving as well.
Oh, dude, that's
And it
awesome.
created that depth and that just like realness of like, okay, it's not just the room that's moving, it's like you're moving too. And it's beautiful. And
I think it's interesting kind of talking about the moving sets. I watched a interview with the guy that played the man whose name escapes us all.
Okay, well, I'm looking this guy's name up.
And
Yeah, please.
yeah, we need to credit him appropriately. But he said that he had gone to, it was his first day of filming when they filmed this scene in the bar when Leonardo DiCaprio's character comes up to him and is doing the whole routine with him where he's trying to get him.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Is that who you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the target, the guy who they were trying to plant the memory.
Oh.
Yeah, him. I know the actor's name, but I cannot think of what his name in character was. But it was his first day on set, and that was when they filmed the scene where the whole bar tilts to the side and you just see like the liquid in the glass moving. And he was talking about how just like trippy that was, because it was like their first day, like it was his first scene that he recorded, and suddenly like the set starts to move. And the amount of effort that went into filming that, like you're talking about the cinematography, and the planning that they had to go through to set up for those scenes is just insane.
Yeah, I find myself now like watching movies or watching even videos on YouTube, because there's a lot of like aspiring filmmakers on YouTube, and from the editing to the cinematography, I just find myself like watching stuff and I'm like, oh wow, that was an amazing shot. Like the way they did that was just beautiful. But do you remember the guy's name in the movie?
Do I
like
remember
his character name?
I don't. I really don't. I know Cillian Murphy played him.
Was it?
Oh, it's Fisher. His name was Fisher.
Yes.
That's what it was. Fisher.
Fisher.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So we got that wrapped up.
Finally, Fisher.
Finally,
yeah,
there
Fisher.
we go. Congrats. Proper credit right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so on the point of just art in itself, like you are an artist. Like you literally put yourself out there every time you create something. How has that process been once you are, putting your work out, people are seeing it? Are you nervous about releasing your work ever? Has that ever been something you thought about?
Holy crap, yes. Especially right now, because I'm going through the process of editing and revising and re-editing and re-revising this book that I'm trying to pitch. And that is really terrifying. I think more so than the graphic design, because with that, I don't want to say it's more surface level, but it's definitely more topical than the book that I'm writing, because in a lot of ways I found myself like processing trauma with this book, and it's very, very deeply personal. Like this character that I am writing about, literally, like I came up with this character when I was like 14. Like I first had the idea, and he's kind of lived in the back of my head all these years, and it was only just recently, as I was getting my mental health under control, trademark, that I got back to writing, and I was like, I miss that guy. Like I think that would be a really cool story yet, and it's gone in a really different direction than I originally planned for, but I think in a really cool one, and I'm excited about it, but I'm also terrified, because it's a thing that's really, really close to me, and it's like, in a lot of ways, like I'm kind of writing about myself, but like in a I don't want to say like a power fantasy, but kind of like a power fantasy of like it's a way to process all of it and work through it, but also
Wow.
telling like a good story.
That's awesome.
That is.
Well, I'm interested.
That is. Yeah.
And I have a kind of like an in because you sent Leah the unedited, or is that how many edits is that?
That is 3 revisions in. It's just
Okay.
basically missing the polish, and also there are some like half sentences because I was editing that stupid thing at like 3 a.m. half the time, and because that's when I work best, but also it was 3 a.m. So there's a lot of mess in there yet, but I'm going through and it's not taking as much to polish. Like the bones are there, and it's just the spit shine that I need to add.
Well, that's great. I mean,
So
I hope everything goes well with that. You said you're going for a publisher, correct?
Trying
after.
There's a thing on Twitter that they do quarterly, and it's called PitMad. So all day, literary agents will be on Twitter watching this hashtag, and you'll hashtag with like the appropriate genre for your book. And you basically give them like an elevator pitch, like 35 words, however many characters Twitter allows. And if an agent likes your tweet, that means that they want to see more. And so then you have to like go and send the manuscript to them if it's someone you think you want to work with. So
That's
it's kind of like
really cool.
Yeah, it's like a really
that.
fast-paced way to kind of like network, like we've been talking about, kind of like a fast-paced way to network with agents. But if that falls through, I will probably try querying like the traditional way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
I'm glad that you're deciding to put this out. I'm glad that you're creating more things to put yourself out there more, because this is, I think now is the best time with the quarantine.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people
bored.
who are everybody's either bored or they're on the fence about creating something and wanting to put it out, and they just haven't made the jump yet.
And like Mya has said too, which I think is extremely important, that these creative outlets can be so healing and therapeutic to everyone's mental health. So if you're thinking about doing something creative, whether it be anything creative, and if it's a creative work, do it. If that's something you want to try, just like go for it, because all these kinds of creative works can be so like therapeutic and like just so good for your day-to-day mental health. And I don't know, is that like something that you would say as well, Mya?
Yeah, I think too, like, don't be afraid for it to be messy and to be bad at first, because it will be. Like, it very definitely will be.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you can kind of see that if you go way back on my business profile. Like, I've got my art up there, like back when I was just illustrating, like in the background, and it was kind of just a hobby at that point, and it's not great. But like, let it be bad. Go nuts. Go crazy. Like, have fun while you're doing it. Don't put so much pressure on yourself for it to be like perfect and like someone who's been doing it for several years. Just do it, and that's the way you get better.
And it shows growth too, because I mean, we can go back to the pilot episode of this podcast and come to like the last 4 episodes that we've done. And me personally, I think we've come a long way. So
yeah,
honestly, it's been fun every step of the way too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I enjoyed making every single one of them, and so like, I'm sure most people who will feel like that too when they start trying new things out. And like you said, you're going to be bad in the beginning. Like, we have to just accept that. I think that we should take advantage of the time in the beginning where we're learning and the expectations are low. I don't think people look at it that way. Like, the expectations are low, so if you are constantly exceeding that, then that's amazing. Like, but it's like the expectations we set for ourselves are usually so high, as they should be, but like we feel as if, oh, we failed if we don't hit it. But lo and behold, like, you're actually progressing a lot. It's just you're not looking at it that way.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, learn from the mess. Just
Exactly.
let it be weird, let it be crazy, and learn from all of the mistakes that you might make along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process.
And before we wrap up here too, I want to shout out Maya because our beautiful album cover that you see all the time when you click on this podcast and our logo was made by yours truly, Maya, which is I love it so much. It's so awesome.
I'm glad. That's like the best thing to hear from a client. So
Yes, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I'm starting to try to make stickers and like make more like merch, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the future, but we're thinking about it. And everyone that I've showed our logo to is just like the first question is, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's my logo. And wow, I was like, I've gotten so many wows and like, wow, I thought this was like an actual business. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is. It's our podcast.
I mean, it is. That's kind of why I have a logo. Wow, that's really rude.
But like, just like people think it's so like professional. And I'm like, yeah, it's because we're a professional business.
It's because it is.
Exactly.
That gives me more fuzzies.
Yeah, like I said, I'm so happy that you're still finding opportunities right now, and well, more than just finding, you are flourishing in them, and I cannot wait to see how this mural works out. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, everybody, like, go to my Instagram. I'll definitely be posting a lot about it. It's up. My paintbrush is up in my stories right now, so check it out. Like we're going to be going at this mural here pretty soon. I think it's going to happen a lot faster than I'm ready for.
All the links will be in the description so you can follow her along her mural journty because I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Watch me get covered in paint and draw big letters.
All right. Well, Maya, thank you so much for coming back again. Shout out to the episode that no one heard. The episode that never happened. Shout out to that. Thank you for coming back on with us again and telling your story because you're full of so many new perspectives and things that we never thought about. Please continue to keep creating. We're loving seeing the work that you're making. You guys be sure to go follow her. Hold on Instagram because we got to shout this out. Okay. You gotta go see her work. It's amazing. All right. Make sure you go follow her Instagram at Emthree.creative. It's EMTHREE.creative. Please go follow and look at her work. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Our pleasure.
Okay, KP, were you going to say something else? I'm sorry. No, I'm good now.
I was just going to say, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, wow.
You lost the thought. You didn't write it down on a sticky note. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have time to write it on the sticky note.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys for checking out another episode of Responsibly Irresponsible. Again, big thank you to Maya for coming on with us. And until next time, we'll see you guys.
Peace.